All right, so I do like for my individual centers to revolve around two things: what I'm teaching in the small group and what I'm doing whole group with ELA. So those two things for this rotation this week are beginning sounds, blending sounds, and sight words. What helps me is I put on my bug ears. So this does mean don't bug me. I'll wear these while I'm doing small group instruction so that my kids know not to bug me and to ask 3 before me. We have students, I have those students stand up so that they remember who their helpers are, who they can go and ask. They can be a helper in another group. It's just because we are rotating, they just cannot come to a helper if they're at my table. So what happens is there's a chime that goes off, and when the chime goes off, they know that it's time to clean up. They've cleaned up, they go and stand in superstar position behind their chair. All right, boys and girls, are you ready for center time?
Yes.
I'm ready for center.
That's my favorite part.
It's my favorite part too. All right, we're gonna ask how many?
3 before me.
Stand up if you are a special helper that helps people. Stand up if you are someone. Friends who are sitting, do you see where to go if you have a question? All right, those friends can sit down. All right, when the chime goes off, what do we do?
Clean up.
Clean up. All right, let's look and see where we go today. Stand up if you are coming to Miss Stinson. One more person has to stand.
Lauren, stand up.
All right, I want you to come stand as a matter of fact, come stand at your chair. Who's at sight words? What are we looking at for sight words?
William Madeline.
All right, so stand up. All right, go get your sight words and you can get started. Remember, if you finish early, you're taking out your whisper phones and reading your books in your bag. If you are at Grammar Bee, stand up. All right, here and pull, okay? What do you do first?
Get flip on.
Remember. All right, my bug ears are going on. What do my bug ears mean?
Don't bug me.
Ask 3 before me. All right, number 1 is going on, which means you have whisper voices. They get to go to their sensory bin and they pick out a card. So when they pick out a card, they get to talk to their partner about if they're not sure what this is. It can be a bear or a teddy bear. But what's fun about that is they have to discriminate. So if they can't find a T, then they know it can't be teddy bear. So I like this center because it is geared to my 2 groups that are struggling with beginning sounds. With my groups that are higher, they have a vocabulary conversation and they get to talk about what the different objects are and why they can be different things. Why this could be a teddy bear or why it could be a bear. But what's neat is listening to the conversation and the problem solving as to why it is that letter. The way I check this, if for some reason they're not all colored, that tells me 2 things. They didn't get through every picture, or they might not have understood what the picture was. I like to start off my centers. The first day I go through and I do name every picture. That also tells me who's listening and who's following directions. Sensory bin is my favorite because, like I said, they think that they're playing, but they're really learning. It's the whole thing. Everything is that way.
I don't have any name.
All right. So what's the first sound we hear in tap? All right. We're going to take our yellow.
Okay.
And our yellow is going to tell us to slow down.
Like badminton. Like.
Do the next one. Let's see what I'm going to do.
Which one did I not do?
What is that? What is that?
I didn't do. That's what we do here. Grab stuff from in here. You grab stuff from in here. And how many? I already did write the number.
So my next one that I love is this is Grammar Bee, and this will go back and forth between actual grammar or the blending and the sounds. So this week it was focusing more on the sounds. With my groups that don't struggle as much, they were to get a mat. They find the picture. They come in, they can find the picture, they leave, the cards stay in, they put the picture on cab, and then they build it. They match the picture, ab, they turn it, and then they can turn it over to self-check. It's also color-coded with their thing. So what happened today, a picture fell out, but they knew it went in the blue bin. So that's how they know to get their pieces back to the right one. Then after they build the word, then they can pop it on the popper and they say the word ab. Now, this would be a lot for my groups that are struggling. So that's why that group knew to get a bag instead. So that group only got bags. This center is differentiated for my ones who are working on beginning, middle, and end, and then my ones who are just working on the beginning sounds.
All
right, ready? All right, ready? Next sound. Beginning sound. Beginning. Ready? Oh, good job. All right, now look, here we go. We're going to do 3 different on our arms. Ready?
Hold it.
Mix. So we've done the over here in the middle. You hear that? I. All right, so let's write it. So the next group is sight words. So with this rotation, they are practicing all the sight words that we have practiced this year. Their sight word is on the tree, and then they match it with the tree. Here we go. You got it?
Hold it. Me too. Hold it today.
We're going to do a different word. Take them apart. Ready? The last group is sight words. Write the room. They love this. They go around to find words. With this, I differentiate in 2 different ways. They can either trace the words for my ones who have a hard time writing. That was my group that was actually with me. And then the other group, they write the words. Today, they just colored, and then they can say the words or go and read because they finish quicker. And what's the ending sound? T. All right, so we're going to use our magic. And we are thin. What does thin start with? What sound do you hear at the beginning?
Yes, I can.
Have you asked 3?
I'm just gonna write random numbers. I don't know. Hey, what's
In the front. There we go. Now, what's the last sound? And I like to ask to see what they actually participated in, to know that they actually understood what they were supposed to do. So I go through and I try to ask from each group, at least 2 or 3 from each group, to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to in the group.
No, he was in the room last time.
But he found out another day? All right, you know what I want you to do, Holden? Show me how to do top on your arm.
T-O.
P. All right, way to go. Kiss your brain. Who found, I feel like there was another word. We had 8 words. Who found another word that I'm forgetting? All right, who built another word that I haven't heard? I don't want to hear Dad, Bib, or Finn. So another word. Sia.
Map.
Map. Spell map for me.
M-A-P.
All right, she just spelled map. Did you hear how she spelled map?
Yeah.
Spell it. Everybody do it on your arm. You ready?
Map.
As long as the voice level doesn't interrupt the learning here, and I feel like they are engaged in it, then I'm okay. I was okay with what went on today. There are days that I have to actually get up and leave and go redirect, so I didn't have to do that, so I kind of was a win.